Alright, what is up guys? It is Robert at Gaming with Me, and welcome to a video talking about video game review sites. One thing that I do, not super often, but it's something that I occasionally do, is go on Metacritic and just look up like older games and just kind of see opinions and other takes on these older games during that time. I do this during like when I'm making a back of the backlog episode. If it's something that's a really high review score, maybe it was a really low review score, I like to kind of look back and see what other people thought during the time it released. As someone who likes to go into things very spoiler free, I don't really look at reviews pretty much at all. It's until I maybe actually play the game, and then I'll maybe look at some opinions and see if people agree with me on things, or just get different takes occasionally. If it's a game I really love, there's something I like to see just more content on it. One thing that I noticed going back to like older games is that there are so many review sites that just don't exist anymore. That legitimately don't exist anymore. And it's funny because in the end of the day, a lot of people take Metacritic as such a big thing, and again, I don't. I buy games that I'm interested in, no matter the review scores. Again, I don't actively go out to Metacritic and just compare as to why I should buy something. Like, no, if I saw the trailer and I was interested, I'm just going to pick it up. But, there are people that do generally pay attention to review scores like that. It's a big reason I don't use review scores on my videos for like back of the backlog and stuff, is just because people, once you add a number to something that is a review wise or some sort of thoughts or discussion, people automatically will just go straight to that and just form an opinion based on that. It's like, okay, it's a 7 out of 10. That means blah, blah, blah. That means blah, blah, blah. And they don't actually listen to the review. That's just most people in the world. If you go to a comment section of a review, they'll say, they gave it a 9 out of 10. Thank me later. Like, whatever. Like, they could say things in the review that you don't like just because they gave it a 9. You know what I mean? Like, if they're giving their like thoughts on it and say, hey, this does this and that, and then you're like, I don't really like when games do this and that, but people would never know because they just look at a number and they dictate their thoughts and opinions on that. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about just going back and showing you how many review sites just don't exist anymore, and it's really crazy. To kind of circle back into the whole idea that people really pay attention to these. The biggest games that come out usually get over 100 views. Reviews. It's usually 100, maybe 30 plus or something. Like, let's look at some of the newest games. Let's look at like Doom: The Dark Ages. Did that get review copies to people? I don't remember. 66. Yeah, I mean, look at this. So you got 28, 70, and 67. So that's, it's over 100 something. I'm not the greatest at math, but that's like 140 to 150 or something like that, right? And all of these review sites, obviously, are reviewers that exist. This is a very recent game. It came out, last month? So clearly, these are all people that will exist. And one thing I'll always say is, like, people always know about IGN and GameSpot. They always point to Metacritic, but they can't. Most people are not going to be able to name 10 reviewers. Like 10 review sites, you know what I mean? But look how many review sites there are. There's a ton. There are a ton. There's way more than even this. This is only on the PC side. Again, you go to PlayStation, you got another ton. And again, Xbox, you go and there's another ton. So I will always find it funny when people are like, oh, Metacritic. And again, it's good for like a general consensus sort of thing. I get it. End of the year Game Awards. These a lot of reviewers are also panelists, and so kind of whatever the highest rated games are of the year typically are also the nominees. It's pretty much how it goes. But I just want to show you how fast this industry changes. Like, let's look up a game. Let's look up my favorite game of all time, Super Mario Galaxy. Let's look up Super Mario Galaxy and just see, how many. We'll do Galaxy 2, that's fine. 2010, this is what it was, 2025, so the 15-year-old game. Oh man, yeah, that was last month was the thing. So if we look, there's a bunch of these guys that will just not exist anymore, and it's so weird. Oh, well, we go with the very first. I'm pretty sure Edge still exists, right? Yeah, Edge, but you don't get the look. Is you don't get the review. It's a damn shame. A lot of those don't really. Maybe if you look it up, if we look up Edge. Alright, I'm gonna have to wear my glasses for this. You know, typically I don't wear my glasses on videos, but I can't see for shit. The very second one is 1UP. Let's go to 1UP right now. 1UP is IGN. 1UP doesn't exist anymore. It's just immediately, right off the bat, 1UP is one that doesn't exist. I don't know why it goes to IGN. When you start to go into the rabbit hole of like looking up different review sites, you kind of see that a lot of like big media conglomerates kind of eat each other up. So like IGN owned, I guess, 1UP, and then this is like Ziv Davis, which Ziv Davis is the owner of IGN and stuff, I believe. Yeah, so February 2013, Ziv Davis acquired IGN Entertainment, announced the discontinuation, there you go, of 1UP.com, UGO.com, and GameSpy.com to focus on IGN and Ask Him. Wow. That was already 12 years ago. Let's see another one. So we got IGN. Games Radar still exists, but you can't find the review site. The Escapist, does that exist anymore? It does. Sorry, The Escapist. I wasn't too sure actually. I was not sure. Digital Chumps. Page does not exist. Combo does not exist anywhere. We.combo. Cannot find it. Well, let's see. Let's just try we.combo.com. Maybe that exists. Yep. Doesn't exist anymore. Giant Bomb, they still exist. Kikizo still exists, or this is an archive. This page archives 20 years of Kikizo. I don't know if they exist anymore though. Their last upload was a year ago on YouTube. I don't know if they exist. Well, it's an archive, so I don't think they have. Doesn't sound like it's still up though. That's cool. I'm glad to see it's still up, which is nice. The AV Club. That sounds familiar. I feel like that still exists, but it's not popping up. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it still exists, but it just unfortunately you can't see the review anymore. I'm sure some of this still probably is on like what's the Wayback Machine, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure some of them are. This is an interesting one. Games TM, but it goes to Games Radar, which Games Radar was over here. So that's another one that doesn't exist anymore, or it got merged with Games Radar. That's another one. Gamer Limit. That does not sound like that exists. It does. Cryptocurrency and casinos. I mean, hey, but it's casinos now. All they do is casino stuff. Very 2024, latest 2025. But there is only one person writing this. That's interesting. All right. I mean, it still exists, but I can't find the review. Thunderbolt Games. They do not exist anymore. Damn. Gamer Vision. That does not sound like that exists. Yep, that does not exist anymore. Mirror Station. Does not exist anymore. That's 3 in a row. Gamer Node triggers my Norton security thing. Error 404. It's an ad. 2016. Yeah, that does. You could. It's still up though, but that is not though. Game Shark does not sound like that would exist, and it does not. Damn. Eurogamer Spain. Do they still have a website? They do. Armchair Empire. I'm gonna guess that doesn't exist. It is taking very long to load. I do not think this exists. Let's look up Armchair Empire. What's going on with them? It looks like Armchairs does not exist. Took too long. Yeah, I guess not. Their latest review on Metacritic was 2014. Yeah, that does not sound like that exists anymore. But look at these guys, man. 1,400 reviews, 648 So, I mean, damn, that's over 2,000 reviews. Oh, yeah, duh, right there, 2,200 reviews. And just gone. Universal Nintendo? I'm going to say they don't exist. Wii Brazil. That was 2025. Slot games. Interesting how some of these are now like casino, not Sakino. Sakino. Casino. Interesting. Gambling. What the hell? I don't know if I don't know if I would consider that to exist anymore, to be honest with you. But no, it's not that one anymore, but that definitely is not Universal Nintendo. Game Reactor Sweden. Game Reactor still exists, it looks like. Yeah, look at that. Still exists. See an F1 the movie? Alright. Yeah. In Europe, I'm gonna say no, does not exist. Oh, it looks like it does. Looks like it does. Yeah, they still do. Why did they take down their Mario Galaxy 2 review then? That doesn't make sense. Video Gamer still exists. Can't see the Galaxy 2 review. Okay, so you actually could still find the Video Gamer Galaxy 2 review. You just gotta kind of go find. You have to look it up. See, not only is it like interesting to actually go back and see like reviews back then, because you know people lived during the Wii. Here's another one that doesn't exist anymore. Metro Game Central. Every I.it, I highly doubt this exists anymore. I'm gonna say that does not. But everything I don't know. It's cool reading back, you know, coverage from 2010. It does exist. Really? All right. Hey, every I.it still exists. Congrats. Oh, it's probably .Italian or something like Italy, right? Yeah. They're still grinding. Nice. But I think it's cool to look back at older reviews, and maybe I'll do that another time, an actual video on reading older reviews, because they are quite interesting. And one of these days, I mean, look, IGN UK doesn't exist anymore. They just kind of molded everyone into one IGN. Gamer.nl. You died. Oh, well, does Gamer.nl still exist though? Power Unlimited. I guess not. Gamer.nl doesn't look like it exists anymore. It goes to Power Unlimited. So they got merged or rebranded to something. Eurogamer Italy, which is just Eurogamer. Game Style. Okay, Game Style still exists. There we go, and the review's up. Oh, never mind. Maybe not. They're inactive though. Last thing was 2016, it looks like. So you can still read the reviews, but you kind of have to search for it. Game Planet? I'm gonna say no. Oh? Domains, nope, they don't exist anymore. Fuck, that's crazy. Cube 3. Sounds familiar. Yeah, they're still around. Here you go. Game Reactor Denmark. They still exist. Joystick, I feel like this was a bigger one. Yeah, in Gadget now. So yeah, Joystick don't exist. Level7.nu, I'm gonna say that doesn't exist. Mind you, this is one game from 2010. You see how many sites just do not exist anymore? It just shows how shaky, volatile that industry is, the media industry for gaming, and I'm sure for movies and everything else. Yeah, Level 7 does not exist anymore. Gameblog.fr still exists. Let's go, Gameblog. Video Game Talk, I'm gonna guess no. Unfortunately, it's a higher chance. Look at it. Yep, no. It's a higher chance of them not existing than existing, and it makes you think that it's like, you know, 116, 130 reviews now. Game focused. I don't think so. Yep, nope. 3D Wagos. I'm gonna say yes. I think that was yeah, that still exists. That sounds familiar. Yeah, there you go. Yep. And you can still read the review for Mario Galaxy 2. Cheat Code Central. Sounds familiar. I think they do exist. Looks like they do. 1 day ago, 2 days ago. Nice. And you could read the review. Vandal. I'm gonna say no. Oh, maybe. Yes, they still exist. Vandal. Let's go. Nice. Neo 3 impression. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. See, look, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Okay. Nintendo Gamer, you can't even click on the review. I'm assuming they do not. Well, let's see. Their latest game was 2012's Paper Mario. Okay, so they have not done something in a long time. 1,482. So, wow, that's crazy. But imagine those 150 whatever people. Gamer 2.0, I'm guessing, does not exist. Gaming Gorilla got merged, rebranded something, but the Gamer 2.0 does not exist. No. How many of those people will exist in 10 years? Very likely half of them will not, and that's scary, man. That's a lot of people out of jobs. Games Master UK, let's see, the last time they reviewed something was 2018's Forza Horizon 4. You know, that's more recent, but that's still 7 years ago. You know, Gaming Trend, probably not. Well, Gaming Trend, yeah, Forbidden, never mind, they don't exist. Wait, let's see, Gaming Trend, hold on, because they had even, maybe they do exist. They probably, okay, yep, they do. Okay, they do. They do. They just don't have, I guess, their Mario Galaxy anymore. No matches. Yeah, they just. Why would you delete your reviews? Multiplayer.it still exists. Let's go. Game Over Online. I'm gonna say they don't exist. Game Over Online. Maybe someone bought the domain. Game Over Game Reviews still exist. Latest was 2022 though, so I don't think they seems like Steven has stopped. Damn shame. Gaming Excellence, I doubt they exist. I'm gonna say no. Oh, still up. Nice. 2018 is the latest review though. Yeah, maybe not. I'm glad someone's still paying for the domain though for like some of these, because at least you could again go back and see those older reviews. Like I said, I definitely want to make a video just reading reviews. Game trailers just leads to their YouTube channel, so they don't even they don't have a website anymore. Oh, because they're IGN now. Holy shit, that's crazy. That is nuts. Official Nintendo Magazine UK. That definitely doesn't exist anymore, right? I mean, that's Official Nintendo Magazine UK. That I really don't think that exists. It takes you to Nintendo's official website. Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore then. Damn. And it's so funny that Nintendo reviewed their own game. Well, is it like Nintendo Power? Is it kind of like that? I've always find that funny, you know, Nintendo Power. But yeah, I mean, they gave it a 9.7. I mean, I get it. It's a great game. Play TM still up, it looks like. Or not. I don't. What is this? Is this like? Maybe not. It's like all. Okay. Is this like a bootleg site? I don't even know. So I'm gonna say no. Spazio Games. Looks like still exists. Yeah. Bravely Default, Flying Fairy. Yeah, so it's still new stuff. You probably just gotta look up Galaxy 2. Bam, bam, dun, 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 dun. This is probably like the 15th anniversary. Yeah, 2025. So they don't have. Why delete your old review though? ZTGD. Say no. Yes. Okay. Hey, and they still got their review up, and they're still making reviews. Awesome. Awesome to see. IGN AU, so Australia doesn't exist anymore. Extreme Gamer does not exist. Yeah, I didn't think so. Video Games Zone.e. Denmark, I guess, is that what it is? Mario Galaxy 2 still up. Hey, cool. I don't know, I can't see. I don't know what's not. I don't need to. Nintendo War Report, pretty sure they still exist, right? Yeah, they still do stuff. Yeah. Worth playing? Ooh, they're still up. Still up in, what are we looking at? Still doing reviews stuff? Yeah, Nintendo Switch 2, okay. Hardcore Gamer. I'm gonna say still up. Yeah, Borderlands 4. Can I find the, how about the Mario Galaxy review? Galaxy 2. No, you can't. Why delete your shit? Come on. The Game Boys. I'm gonna guess they don't exist. Yep. Oh man, don't even have the domain. Game Zone. does not exist anymore. Nintendo Power does not exist anymore. Games Nation does not exist anymore. They're now Web News. Game Nation to Web News? Yeah, they definitely don't exist anymore. Palgien, guessing no. Palgien does not seem to exist anymore. I'll look them up. Palgien. Was. Yeah, farewell to Palgien. Damn. They do not exist anymore. Holy shit. That was... Oh, man, they were gone years ago. Literally 13 years ago. Jeez. Inside Gamer .nl does not exist anymore. That's the same other one. Big Pond Game Arena. Doubt that exists anymore. No offense. Some of these, you just hear these names, you're like, yeah, they don't exist anymore. Game Arena that's not the same one. Game Arena. Oh, you know what? No, but that's just a completely different thing. They don't exist anymore, bro. Game Critics, I'm gonna say they do, right? That sounds familiar. Or I guess just because of the name Game Critics. Have they done anything recently though? 2025, yeah, they have. Cool. Cinemite. That doesn't sound like that exists anymore. Nope, they do not. Games Octel. Oh, you know what? Maybe they oh, yeah, maybe they, you know, whatever it's called, merged into something. NZ Gamer does not exist anymore. Their last review was 2025. Wait, what's this jump? Recently added new play control Pikmin 2, 2025. The last one was 2017. Before that, that's something's off there. That's weird. Because they have not made something since 2017. Gaming XP, I'm pretty sure that exists still. Does that exist? Oh no, that's okay. Yeah, no, they exist still. But they don't really. Doesn't seem like the same. Fortnite Season 6 survival games headset review blog. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they actually exist. Not, at least not like how they used to. Games.at. No, I'm gonna guess. Oh, wait. Maybe they do. 2025. Let's go, baby. Nice. Game Informer, that does not exist, right? They shut that down out of nowhere. At least their site is still up, which is nice, but oh no, yeah, so I think they got shut down and then bought by some other company or something. I think that's what it was. And then now they're just doing their own thing. Something like that. Because GameStop just shut them down out with literally no warning. That's fucked up. Imagine shiz, and it happens all the time, but it's so fucked up. Computer and video games does not exist. There's no way. Yeah, yeah, that does not exist. Game Revolution, probably not. No, okay, maybe. All right, no, I mean just not that website. 3 days ago. Okay, yeah, I mean. Doesn't look like they review games anymore. Oh no, they can review controller. I don't know. Gaming Age. I don't think they exist. Oh, wait. 3 days ago, they still exist. They just, for some reason, took down their Mario Galaxy 2 review. Wired. That exists, right? Yeah. I mean, that's been around for ages, I know. Yep. Game Daily exists. Hey, do they still... They can't play on Switch 2 yet. Yep, they exist. Nice. Game Pro. PC World. They don't exist anymore. Fuck. Game Spy does not exist. We know that. But they still have the website. Powered by IGN. It's here for, you know, so people could go back and read archiving stuff, which is great. Level does not exist. I mean, maybe it does. I don't know. But it doesn't pop up. Gamer.no. Guessing no. Oh, wait. Oh. Lies of P. Avowed. That was this year, right? Donkey Kong Bonanza. That was like 2 days ago. So yeah, all right. Hellboard. Last one. Damn. The lowest score for Mario Galaxy 2 is a 9. It's pretty crazy, actually. Hellboard exists? Yeah, they've got the little logo there, so maybe they still, let's see, they do still exist. What is this, though? That is not the same thing in the slightest. That is not Mario Galaxy 2 or any video games. It looks like they, well, maybe they just make their own games now. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's not the same. They don't exist. What was their last? Let's see. What was their last review? That was in Dead Space, Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, Red Dead Redemption. So 2010. Damn. Well, I'll go back and tally how many existed and does not exist out of 87. And I'll put the score right here. But we know it's a lot. Seems like it's damn near half. If not, it's at least 25%, right? I feel like. And it just shows how, again, volatile that industry is. And you look at something, like I said, like if you go back to like some of the latest stuff, Doom or Mario Kart World just came out and stuff, you know, or Mario Kart World is a good one because it's one platform, but they didn't get review copies, so it's not the same. But Mario Kart World, 106 reviewers as of now, but there's going to be more. How many of these people are going to exist in 5 years? So imagine, 15 years down the road, like, I don't know, man. I think legitimately, like, 60% of these people are not going to exist. They're going to be shut down. Jobs are going to be lost. Things are going to be morphed together and merged, and again, more jobs will be lost. And it's a shame, man. It's really a shame. It's tough. Look, gaming journalism is something that has been replaced by YouTube for the longest. And while maybe it's not replaced like entirely in the idea of that, you could still go on a lot of the bigger websites and get news and stuff, but realistically, it's like, I don't think people favor, majority of people don't read the reviews. They look at a number and then they move on, and that's it. And it's tough because you don't get paid enough, to be doing a lot of this. It's got to be your genuine passion. Some people will be, working for one company, and especially if you're just like a writer, you're just a writer, like a freelance writer or something. Even if it's full time, like you're literally like working multiple sites, and it's brutal, man. You don't. I remember I applied to be a writer for, I think it was Game Rant. Let me take this off. I don't need this on anymore. It was Game Rant, and they were paying, like, this was a few years ago. I think they were paying, I forget exactly, so don't quote me on this, but it was low. It was like $15 for it was like $15 to $25 per article, or some crazy low number. Something that you look at, you're like, what are you talking about? And so you'd have to pump out articles, and it's like, that is horrible. That's literally peanuts, bro. You're getting paid peanuts, and it sucks because it's a passion for many people, and it's why a lot of people end up going independent and doing their own things, because if it works out, you end up getting more money that way, and it's tough. I feel for people that try to go into gaming journalism and try to get a full job on it, because it seems damn near impossible. I mean, you look at something from 2010, not that crazy long. Yeah, 15 years is a long time, but like, if you want to make a career out of it, you're constantly shifting and constantly changing, unless if you're not in something like IGN. And even IGN, I'm sure, has done layoffs and stuff, but it's like, what a brutal industry it is, man. It's tough, and I see all these names of these websites that no one's heard of, or I don't want to say no one's heard of, because me as a channel myself, is something that barely anyone has heard of, right? And so it's these things that are lost to time, you could say, where had, I'm sure, a few dedicated, at the minimum, a few dedicated readers, and unfortunately, time just goes by. They can't afford certain things, and they have to shut down. and then, you know, someone just goes to a different website. And it's such a shame that it's got to be that way. And, you know, money's the root of all evil, where it's like, you know, unfortunately, in order to continue things, they have to get some sort of revenue. It's and in some of these, you know, I'm sure were also volunteer work. You know, I also looked at other things to apply, and it was like, oh, it's volunteer work. I'm like, you're insane. I'm not writing articles for free. That is insanity to me. It's got to be such a passion, but at that point, if I'm writing articles for you for free, I might as well write articles on a blog post by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. To me, that sounds outrageous. But you gotta get paid for your work. At least the $15. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just tougher though, and it's gonna continue to be tougher as these years go on due to stuff like AI. You know, unfortunately, a lot of people don't read articles anyway. I don't read a lot of articles myself. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I read a bunch of articles. I skim through articles for like you know, Nintendo Life maybe or something, or what was my Nintendo news. I'll check sometimes, and you know, some IGN article you kind of skim through. But realistically, you get the gist in a few sentences, and you're like, all right, I get what I need to see. You know, I don't need to read all this, because unfortunately, you know, also with me is like I like the personality, you know, having the person, and just having like IGN, and you get this little author, and it's like I can't really attach myself or an opinion to this person because I don't know who they are. So it's just IGN. I don't know where I'm going with this, but what I'm saying is, I just wanted to kind of showcase, you know, a lot of people talk about Metacritic, all this stuff, and I want to show you guys like how many review sites just don't exist anymore. How many gaming websites just shut down over the past decade. That just like, wow, it's a lot of probably jobs lost. It's a lot of passions gone, and a lot of people shifted around. Hopefully a lot of these people still are working and are getting paid well somewhere. And if it was a passion and volunteer work, hopefully they are getting paid now, and it's really good for them. Hopefully their resume was good and it was able to do something with it. I really do. Because I get it. You know, I mean, 2010, that's when I started my YouTube channel, right? Well, not this YouTube channel, but my Raven Rabbit 203. I was 11 years old. I wasn't anything professional, obviously. And I guess this video isn't very professional, but it's just the idea of, you know, I've stuck around. And I will stick around until I'm 70, 80, 90 years old, 125. Because I do love doing this, and this is a passion of mine, and I do not get paid for this at all. This is volunteer work for myself, you know. But I think a big thing for me when it comes to like why gaming media isn't as big and why gaming websites aren't as big is because people like a personality. They like to put a face to it, or at least a voice to words, and you don't really get that with articles. You know, the way social media has also destroyed why you would really need, you know, a lot of these gaming sites, and unfortunately, gaming sites, a lot of them have to resort to clickbait, you know, in order to click. You know, they need to rile people up, they need to get some negative energy, and so it's a whole bunch of bullshit that it'd be spewed out. And like I said, I think it's just going to get worse now with AI and a whole bunch of bullshit ass articles that are just trash. And unfortunately, it's because people need to get paid. You know, it is what it is. That's just what it is. And the smaller websites will get absolutely demolished and shut down instantly, while the bigger sites have to crank out shitty articles, ones that you look at, you're like, why does this even exist? Who the fuck cares about this? But that's just how the cookie crumbles. People need to make money, so these things end up having to take internet data space by shoving random articles that mean nothing to most people. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I am saying the future is now looking bright for gaming journalism and outlets. You know, I think a lot of, especially if you're higher up at like IGN or something, I know they're looking at AI and stuff, and they're like, we don't need to hire more writers. Who gives a fuck? Freelance writers write up 10 articles a week, 20 articles a week. What are you gonna write on? ChatGPT, give me things to write about. Fuck. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. But yeah, guys, doom and gloom for gaming journalism and gaming media. Like I said, I think YouTube, I think personalities have in social media has just overtaken this for essentially a decade now, and there's just not a lot of need for a lot of gaming websites, and the very few that will succeed are those bigger ones, while the smaller ones will either be merged or shut down. And just by that, what I saw from that one game from Mario Galaxy 2, there were a lot that do not exist anymore. And it's just, I don't know, it's an interesting topic that you could probably go talk about for hours, but I'm not going to have you just sit around, hear me talking for hours, but it's definitely something to ramble about, and I find it fascinating, personally, because I, too, was looking, maybe I could get into writing video game reviews and writing video game articles and stuff, but I'm like, yeah, sounds horrible. To anyone does it and it gets paid, good for you, man. Genuinely awesome, but I will personally stick with my videos. Yeah, I don't know. This is a depressing video, actually. Damn. Again, I feel so bad for the industry, because I don't see it getting better. I just see it getting way worse. And yeah. So yeah. See you guys next time. Was there any favorite review sites they used to read and stuff that just shut down at some point, got merged? Were there specific writers that you used to read a lot? Do they still write? Have they transitioned into like YouTube or something? Do they make videos now, or do they make blog posts? I'd be very curious about some maybe favorite people that you used to read about, and what do they still do? I'd be curious. So yeah, guys, see you guys next time. Peace.
But I know that you can make it. Please don't give up. Just know that we're here for your saving, and I know it's rough, but call. You're mentally vacant.
Silence is the killer, thinking that you can deal with the feeling that left you bleeding. No